Sharkast. 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 IAA Sharkast.
Hello, Sharkland. This is Sharkast, episode 31. This is Dr. Don, your host, and this is a vodcast. So turn on your video because today we have with us the 2021 National Distinguished Principal, Mrs. K, and she's doing the celebration hands right now. So you want to turn those videos on. Miss K, today we had a special event for you. Let's check it out.
Miss K.
This morning because I asked, why do we need a projector? Is it for art? They said, what's for the awards? And you I said, no, I'm not giving the awards today because that's another day. Now I understand. Ooh, this is a bell that you earned,
Miss K, the elementary students wanted to surprise you today and let you know how much they love you and how proud of you they are. Good job! Wow, look at those handprints. Good job.
And so congratulations, Miss K. That was an award received last week in Washington, D.C., correct?
That's correct. I traveled to Washington, D.C. to receive this wonderful award. It was an honor to represent our school and our country. Ecuador's name was everywhere. And Guayaquil with Inter-American Academy, yes. As many of you know, and of course our students also know, I was given this wonderful award of National Distinguished Principal. I want to explain a little bit for the parents and the other people listening or watching, and also again for our students so that they understand better. NESP, the National Association of Elementary School Principals, but each year there's one per state, so it can be up to 50, and they always also choose someone from the Department of State Overseas Schools. So this year they recognized 40 National Distinguished Principals and 3 principals from the overseas schools. We have currently 193 schools around the world, and these schools are also divided by the regional education officers. So these are the pictures of the 3 elementary school principals that were recognized this year. And the one on the left is Dan Kerr, and he is from the American School in Paris. And then Cal Calloway is from the American School in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And then there's me. And I want to share with everybody that it was a constant mentioning of our country and our schools throughout the event because we were different in some way and people were interested and curious to know and learn more about our schools overseas.
So when you say you were different, because you were coming from overseas American international schools, that's what made you different than, say, the Teacher of the Year from New York or the Teacher of the Year from Wisconsin.
Correct. We had principals from each state in the United States. So that's how we were different. Exactly. You are absolutely correct. So I told everybody that I would have stories to tell and I have pictures to tell those stories. And I'm starting from the beginning. This is when I first arrived at the hotel. The event took place at the National Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C. And this was the welcome. There were 2 or 3 of these logos that you can see on the floor. It was it was wonderful to see this at the entrance of the hotel. And then on the right, you can see my badge. So that was also very, very nice. But I have something special to share with everyone. Before we went, the organization reached out to all of us in all of the different countries and states in the United States, and they said, please gather comments from your students and send them to us. So every single state, all of the principals that were nominated collected, including me, collected comments from our students and sent them to them. And they said, we're going to choose the best and we're going to display them. There's going to be 2 bulletin boards. So this was one. I want you to count the number of comments that you can see here, because 3 of those comments are from our students at IAA. Danny, Jan, Emma in grade 6, and Silvina in grade 6. So Danny's in grade 5, Silvina in grade 6, and Emma in grade 6. You will see me also overjoyed standing in front of a bulletin board with about 20 or 24 messages from different students around the world and the schools in the US. And 13 of these messages were from IAA students. So this is when I first arrived. I was in tears. From IAA made it into the bulletin board. So that was wonderful.
That's essentially a bulletin board at the award ceremony for IAA, right?
Exactly.
The IAA bulletin board.
The only thing we were missing there was our logo everywhere, because all of those messages are from our students. As the days went by, I was also invited by Robin Heslip. Dr. Robin Heslip is the Regional Education Officer for the U.S. Department of State, and she covers Mexico, Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. She invited me for an informal lunch the day before the event started. And I'm sharing this with you to share with our community that this is a very important role that she has. She's in charge of all of the international schools in this region, and she is busy, but she still took the time to have a very special meeting with me during lunch to talk about our school. She wanted to hear about our teachers. She asked a lot of questions about our students, the parents, the families. She's in direct contact with all of the Department of State families that are currently serving in Ecuador, not just in Guayaquil, but in Ecuador, at the embassy as well in Quito. And she is a very strong connection with this family. So it was important for me to share with you that I had a very special time with Dr. Heslip, and I shared a lot about you. I'm sure that next time she meets you, she's going to say, I feel like I know the students at your school because I mention them by name. I feel like I know your teachers as well. And I told her a lot of stories about our school, and we had a wonderful and very special time. This board that you see in the back followed the principals everywhere. Wherever we had meetings, this board was coming with us, and they allowed us to play with signs and be funny and silly. But I want to highlight and share with all of you that the blouse that I'm wearing is a very special blouse because it's from an Ecuadorian artist. And this blouse came from an IAA mom who shared it with me so that I could be wearing at least one of the days. Very proud sharing with them that this was an Ecuadorian artist and designer. And I wore it with a lot of pride and representing Ecuador. This is a different day, maybe at the same day at different time, but I'm posing in front of the White House. The hotel where we stayed, where the event took place, was on the same street as the White House. This was a reception on the first night when the event started, and I want to share with you that this was at the Hay Adams Hotel, which is also on that same street as our hotel where the event took place. I also want to share with you that we were able to have a beautiful reception at the top of the Hay, which is a venue that is not open regularly to the public. It's only available for special events, and we were able to have this wonderful reception there thanks to the Department of State. So this picture is also is the same evening, and I took this picture to show you our view from this venue, and you can see the White House in the background and the Washington Monument, which are both beautiful.
Cool.
This is another picture that I want to share with all of you. It's the same evening, and it's a special picture because I met for the first time Mark Olfers, Dr. Mark Olfers. Dr. Don, of course, you know that we've met Mark a long time ago, and we meet with him every Thursday at the meetings that you and I attend every Thursday with the world international school leaders and also with the Latin American leaders. And Mark Olfers has been instrumental during the pandemic up until now, guiding us. He's currently the director of the AAIE. Say a little bit more about AAIE, Dr. Don, and our partnership with them.
Well, I would just say that throughout the whole pandemic, we've had a great partnership. I think we're on conversation number 123 or something like that of weekly head of schools conversations from around the world. So we've been meeting with school directors, executive directors, principals from everywhere from Madrid to Asia to South America to the US to talk about how can we get our kids educated through this pandemic. And Dr. Mark Olfers, who's on the right of this picture, he's the one that's been leading this process. And actually, he really loves Miss Kay. You know, he's been rooting for her through this whole process and has recognized her in multiple meetings that we've had on Thursday mornings with directors from around the world. So this just shows the relationship that developed during the pandemic over Zoom becoming a real person meeting, which is kind of cool.
And this small reception was offered only for the two of us. So even though there were 40 distinguished principals, State Department had a small reception prior to the main event just to recognize the two of us. Now, this picture is showing Mr. Dinkelman, and he's the Assistant Secretary for Administration, and he is the one who actually gave me this diploma, the one I'm holding in the picture, and I'm showing you here that I brought for everyone to see and the students to enjoy. Again, this is Dr. Heslip, Dr. Robin Heslip, the Regional Education Officer. On your left, you have Keith Hannigan, who is the Director of the Office of Operations in the U.S. Department of State. And again, to our right, John Dinkelman, the Assistant Secretary for Administration. Now, this is the night of the event where the awards were offered and given. And this is a picture that I took with my husband because he was there with me. As many of you know, he was in Afghanistan, but he was evacuated in Washington in a few weeks. Then he was able to come to Guayaquil and visit me for a week, and together we flew to the event. Now, I would like to take this moment to just thank him because he has been very supportive throughout my career, always understanding that I work late hours and that I invest a lot of time and effort and my love and my time to my schools, regardless of the country. But that's no different here in Guayaquil.
Ms. Kay, I'm glad you mentioned that. I just wanted to make a comment on that. And Ms. Kay, for 4 years, has given her life, her family life, her home life to IAA. And Gabriel, her husband, has always been supportive of her. And so we know that we've been lucky to have you on loan for all of these years, that you've stayed at the school. You're at the school till late every night, working for the kids and the teachers, and Makerspace this Saturday, right? So you'll be here all Friday setting up for that, and you'll be here Saturday. And you've just given of yourself selflessly to the IAA community. So thank you. That's why you're deserving of this Distinguished Principal Award.
Thank you, Dr. Don. And I also want to mention, just before we watch the video, that my husband arrived in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia today at 5:30 a.m. So he's already in his next country, and I will be joining him in December when we finish the semester.
Representing U.S. Department of State, American Overseas Schools. From Ecuador, Veronica Kaypaghian.
Okay, so this was the moment when I received the diploma. It was a wonderful moment. It was very special. It was like a dream. And this is the diploma that I'm sharing here with everyone so that you can see what it says. So the diploma I just shared is the one from the Department of Education of the United States, but the other diploma that we received came from the Department of State. And I want to read that to you as well. It says, a certificate of appreciation to Veronica Kaypaghian, Elementary Principal, Inter-American Academy, Guayaquil, Ecuador. It says Distinguished Principal for 2021, in deep appreciation for dedicated service and outstanding contributions to American children overseas. I want to take a minute to recognize this because our school was recognized. Our entire school and our entire population was recognized. The teachers, all the students, all the families who are part of this community. But I would like to, if you allow me, Dr. Don, to take a moment to recognize the Department of State and the fact that I was there also representing the Department of State. And if I can pause here and explain to you that Mr. K, my husband, is a diplomat, and he was here serving the United States with the U.S. consulate. So that makes me what we call an EFM, which is an eligible family member. And the reason why I want to share this is because this diploma, although it mentions the American students, and I'm sharing with you that all of our students were recognized through the main event. At this very small event, there was a special recognition for the service that we do to this small population as well. And for me, it was very special because I'm also an EFM. And as many of you can imagine, spouses of diplomats who are highly qualified men and women oftentimes have to give up their jobs and their professions. And it is very rare that someone can continue in that path. And so I have been blessed with this gift that my profession in education has allowed me to follow my husband in his different postings around the world and continue developing in my area. So that has been very special for me. And this is another thing that we received the night of the event. And I also brought it for the students and our community to enjoy. And it's a beautiful bell. And under my name, it also says Ecuador, which is really special because it will stay there forever as a beautiful memory of our school and our time together. It also has the year 2021. And as you can see in this picture, it has a seal and also the National Distinguished Principal emblem.
You better ring the bell, Miss Kay. Go ahead and ring it for our listeners.
I also want to tell you that the students have been coming, and today during Makerspace, I didn't pay attention to that specific moment, but they were wrapping it in colorful tape. And I was like, no, not the bell.
Oh, no.
Thank goodness they didn't paint it or they didn't glue something, but they were wrapping it in tape because they all came, all the students are coming to my office to ring the bell. So they're enjoying it as well.
You've made them so creative that they almost recreated your gift, your award.
They were decorating it. They said it needs some color. So they were adding tape, colorful tape all around. It was very nice. So this is everything I put together so that I could take the picture, the 2 diplomas, and you know, the booklet that has the pictures of all the other principals who were recognized. And I will leave it here. The students are also looking through the pictures and reading about these other principals. It was also an honor to meet them and spend time with them. And this is just a thank you for the opportunity to serve this amazing community and of course for your trust and your support. And this photo that we're sharing here is this morning. The students and teachers surprised me with a beautiful event and it was very special. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. K. I am sure that I represent the IA community in saying congratulations. There is no principal in the world more deserving than our very own Mrs. K for the National Distinguished Principal of the Year. So congratulations to you and your family and to the Inter-American community for being a part of your life and for you changing our lives each day at IAA. Thank you, Veronica.
It has been an honor and a pleasure. And also, I would like to recognize, as I did shortly before this meeting, in another meeting, I would like to recognize Dr. Horvath because working with him and spending time with him during these months has been a blessing. It is wonderful to be overlapping with him and for our students to see us together and to get to know him while I'm still here. So we're working together hand in hand, and it has been a pleasure to work with him these months.
Awesome. Well, we know that you are the National Distinguished Principal of the Year, and we know that you're good at saying "Go Sharks." So let's finish this Sharkcast with a rousing rendition while you're holding your award of "Go Sharks." Miss K?
Let's go. Go Sharks!
Woo! All right.